Hi again, everyone. This is Ashley with Marshflower Studio. In this video, I'm going to kind of review a little bit of what I've been over so far in the other two videos, how to make a chain, some of the things to think about when choosing your hook and your yarn, and then I'm going to show you a few of the other kinds of stitches that we can do other than a chain and a single crochet. So to get started, I'll make my slip knot. So you can do this lots of different ways. This is just how I was taught to do it. I'm going to go under from the left, spin my hook around, and then I'll hold with my middle finger and my thumb that twist that I made. I'll grab some yarn and pull it through that loop. Okay, and that's how I do slip stitches. Not slip stitches. Whew. Slip knots. Sorry if I'm confusing you guys a little bit. So then my chain, I'll grab some yarn and pull it through the loop. Grab some yarn, pull it through the loop. I'm going to do just a few here. My yarn that I'm using is taut but not tight, so I'm letting it kind of move through my fingers as I need more to work. Okay, if you hold it tight, then you're going to end up not being able to kind of go back into stitches to do those next rows. All right, so I'm going to do some single crochets here. Go under just that top loop for this first row. So we'll do single crochets all the way across. And my apologies if I'm going a little fast. I sometimes forget when I'm doing some of the videos for beginners that if I go too fast, it's hard to see what I am doing. So when you're just learning, you don't really need to keep count of your stitches, because this is more of learning how to do the stitches and not as much about making something. Okay, so when we get to the end of a row, remember we're going to chain one and then turn, so we can go back the other direction. So in our second row, I'm going to do what is called a double crochet. Okay, and I'm going to do a bunch of these so that you can kind of watch as I go. I'm going to grab some yarn before I go down through this first stitch. Okay, so I've got these two loops on the top for my stitch, and I've got this hole right underneath where I'm going to stick my hook. So I'm going to grab some yarn, I'm going to go down through that hole, grab some yarn, and then pull it back up. And you should have 3 loops on your hook. Okay, so you're going to grab some yarn and you're going to pull it through the first 2 loops, and then you're going to grab some more yarn and pull it through the second 2 loops. All right, so it makes a taller stitch than just the single crochet. Okay, I'll do that some more. I'm going to grab some yarn, I'm going to go down through that next stitch, grab some yarn, and pull it back up. So I've got 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to grab some yarn, pull it through 2, grab some yarn, and pull through 2. All right, we'll keep doing that. I'm going to grab some yarn, go down through the next stitch here. I'm going to grab some yarn, pull it back up through. So I've got 3 loops, grab some yarn, pull through 2, grab some yarn, pull through 2. All right. So we went from a single crochet to a double crochet, and I'm going to continue working here. I'll try to slow down just a little bit, and we'll zoom in a little bit too. There we go. So I'm going to grab my yarn, I'm going to go down through this next stitch, grab some yarn, pull it back through. So then I've got 3 loops here. I'm going to grab some yarn, pull it through the first 2, and then I'm going to grab some yarn, pull it through the second 2. All right. Again, we'll grab some yarn, we'll go down through the next stitch, we'll grab some yarn, pull it back up. So we have our 3 loops, grab some yarn and pull through 2, grab some yarn and pull through 2. So one thing I haven't mentioned yet in these videos, when you are working, one of the reasons why you want to have your hook facing you is because if you take a look this way, you'll see that the loop around your hook is shaped like a teardrop, okay? And it's going to be much easier to pull your hook through this loop if it doesn't have any anything to catch on right there, right? So if you pull that way, your string's going to get caught in that hook. But if you turn it in, it doesn't get caught on anything. It'll just go right through, okay? So whether you're doing a chain or stitches, that's why we keep our hooks turned towards us so that they stay in that kind of position where the top of the teardrop is. So that hook can just go right through versus getting caught and stuck on our string, okay? So I'll do a couple more of these. And if you'll notice, I am turning my hook as I am going. Some people think that you just hold it completely still the whole time and it doesn't move. Your hook will move, okay? And especially depending on the project you're doing, it may move, you know, back and forth a little more than other projects. But you'll kind of get the feel for how you need to move your hook so that it becomes more natural for you to hold it that way. Okay, I'm going to do the last couple here, and then I will show you guys how to do a half double on the next row. We're going to go in this last stitch here. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Some patterns will tell you, if you're doing a double crochet, to chain 2 when you get to the end of a row. I personally just stick with 1 because I find when I do 2, I end up with kind of a hole or a gap in this last little part, and I don't like the way that that looks. So I just chain 1. For the half double, which is kind of a favorite stitch of mine, you're going to work it very, very similar to a double, okay? but it's kind of a mix between a double and a single. So I'm going to grab some yarn, just like a double. I'm going to go down through the stitch. I'm going to grab some more yarn and pull it back up. We're on a double, we would grab some yarn and go through 2. For the half double, we're going to grab some yarn and just go through all 3. Okay? So I'll do that again. I'm going to grab some yarn. I'll go through the next stitch. We'll grab some yarn, pull it back up. So I've got the 3 loops on the hook. I'm going to grab some yarn and pull through all 3. All right. So we'll keep doing that. And a lot of the time, it really depends on the kind of yarn that you're using and kind of what you want the finished texture to be. So different patterns will tell you to do, you know, so many single crochets and then to do a double. And then it'll tell you to do so many single crochets and then a double. And it's just creating different textures in your work. Sometimes in the middle of a piece, if you're doing something that has like a shaped hole in it. There's a lot of baby blankets that have that kind of effect to them. It's almost like lace. They'll tell you to do a chain or 2 chains and skip 2 stitches and then move on to the next one. But as long as you know how to do all the different stitches, the chain, the single, the double, the half double, it'll be pretty easy to follow those patterns. There are some other stitches and ways you can do stitches that are a little more advanced, so I'm not going to get into those today. But that is something for you to work on and practice, right? So make sure you practice your chains, making sure those are nice and even. The single crochets are one that you use most often when you're making things like stuffed animals. And it's quite honestly the one I use the most anyway. There are doubles that you can work on. If you're doing something that needs to be longer, like a blanket, definitely doing something like a double crochet is going to help it not take as long, right? So our single crochets, our row is a little small. Our double crochets are definitely twice as tall, okay? And then our half doubles are kind of in the middle. But as you can just see from this piece, you can definitely see the different rows and the different types of stitches for each row. So you get that different texture in there. But give those a practice. You can just keep working and kind of bounce back and forth on your rows between singles, doubles, half doubles. And then in the next video, which would be video number 4, I will show you guys how to start working things in a round pattern. So thanks for watching. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you can see all of the other videos that I come out with, and hopefully you guys will be making some of the other patterns very soon. So bye.